Look at this pastoral setting. Let's see. The big picture. What all you musicians out there don't want to forget about, huh? Anyway, what you just heard was the main melody from Transience. It's fairly complicated, so what you want to do is just make sure you take it very slow. It's a great memorization exercise, if nothing else. Music's available for you in Power Tab format on my website, brettmillermusic.net. The song, of course, is available if you buy the CD. Hint, hint. Now anyway, a lot of the confusion that I find people have with alternate picking is when you learn it, it's such a great technique, you want to use it all the time. Well, if you do, you'd be wrong. So where do you use it? Well, Transience is a very good opportunity to check out some small places where you may not want to use it all the time, where you actually have to map it out. Do you sweep pick, which we covered in the previous lesson a little bit? Do you alternate pick? We're going to find out. Here's the first example. It often makes sense when you're doing your alternate picking to think about whether you're doing faster or slower notes. For example, at this tempo, if I play 16th notes versus 8th notes, if you have a lick where you have doubled up 8th notes, in other words, the slower notes, it often makes sense to do 2 downstrokes at that point. Check this out. Here's the very first lick from Transience. I want you to pay attention to the alternate pattern. Sometimes there's going to be some repeated downstrokes. One more time. Down, 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 down. So thinking about the direction of your pick strokes like that helps you to avoid getting stuck, getting caught up over here. Helps it to flow a little bit better. Now something else I like to think about that I don't hear talked about quite often enough is if you're going to be doing a sweep lick, even something short, I always try and set myself up to match the direction of my sweep with the previous pick stroke. For example, if I'm going to do a lick that involves a down sweep, I like to start the note before that on a downstroke. Conversely, if I'm doing an up sweep, I like to start the note before that with an upstroke. Kind of gets my brain in that mode, down or up. So for example, I'm going to continue on with the lick a little bit from Transience. Notice the pick stroke before each of the sweeps. So we have that matching up of our downstroke and our down sweep. Okay, now when you're deciding which kind of picking to use, when you're mapping out or planning out your pick strokes, very important to always be thinking ahead. What's coming next? Where do I want the pulse, the stress to be? Downstrokes, of course, going to give you a little bit more oomph. So, if you need something to be a little bit stronger, you need to work backwards and think ahead to see where your pick is going to land, as in this example. So here's a quick little example from later on in the song of what I mean by stress. There's going to be a very, very hard note on that 12th fret G string. Okay. Now if you watch the pick strokes, you're going to see that I've mapped it out so that I can land on a downstroke on that note. It's not only longer, but it's a little bit louder. You can also throw a little pinch harmonic on it like that, which you often like to do, right? So you really wouldn't be able to do that if you landed on an upstroke. If it was completely alternate picking, see it lands on an upstroke there? So that wouldn't work. Therefore, we have these double downstrokes involved. Sometimes, you do want to use strict alternate picking. For example, the fast bit at the end was completely mapped out to do alternate picking so that I can land on a downstroke on that very last arpeggio bit. It's a lot less awkward to play starting that on a downstroke. So check it out. Try it out. Alright, so I know this was a fairly short lesson this time, but that's okay. I had a good time, hopefully you did. Just wanted to get you thinking a little bit about your picking, planning it out, mapping it out, and giving you a little bit of nice scenic view here of the Hudson River on a nice cloudy gray day, very metal. So, get the music from my website, brettmillermusic.net. Okay, it's in power tab format. Have fun doing it, go slow, try and memorize the whole thing. It's worth it. Okay, until next time.